When you think of Mexico, what comes to mind? Vibrant colors, incredible food, festive music. Well, beyond all that lies a darker, more mysterious world. A world of shadows, where ancient fears take the form of ghostly apparitions and terrifying creatures. These aren't just spooky stories to tell around a campfire. They're a vital part of the culture, reflecting the country's deep history and its complex relationship with the supernatural. They're the cautionary tales told to kids, the whispers in quiet towns, and the source of a collective shiver that runs through the nation. Tonight, we're exploring 8 of Mexico's most haunting urban legends. Tales so chilling, they'll stick with you long after this video is over. We'll begin with a name that is perhaps the most famous, a name that has echoed through generations, carried on the wind with a mournful cry. La Llorona, the Weeping Woman. Our first legend is the quintessential Mexican ghost story, the tale of La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman. She's the ghost of a woman who, in a fit of rage and despair after her lover left her, drowned her own children in a river. Now her spirit is doomed to wander the earth, forever searching for them along riversides and lake shores. People who live near the water claim to hear her blood-curdling scream in the dead of night. Ay, mis hijos. Her origins are thought to stretch way back to pre-Hispanic times, with some theories linking her to the Aztec goddess Cihuacoatl, who wept for her lost children. Today, the story of La Llorona is a terrifying bedtime story, a warning to kids not to wander out after dark unless they want the weeping woman to mistake them for her own and drag them to a watery grave. The legend is so ingrained in the culture that in 2015, La Llorona was declared an intangible cultural heritage of Mexico City by the city's legislative assembly. She's more than a ghost, she is a symbol of loss, betrayal, and eternal regret. La Chupacabras, the goat sucker. From the ancient ghost of a grieving mother, we turn to a much more modern monster, El Chupacabras, the goat sucker. This legend blew up in the 1990s, first in Puerto Rico, and then spreading like wildfire throughout Mexico and the rest of the Americas. The story was always the same. Farmers would wake up to find their livestock, especially goats, dead, with their bodies completely drained of blood through a few small puncture wounds. But what does it look like? Well, that depends on who you ask. Some witnesses swear it's a reptilian beast with leathery, greenish-gray skin and a row of sharp spines running down its back. Others describe it as more like a strange, hairless dog with a powerful build. This predator became a symbol of rural fear, a monstrous answer to otherwise inexplicable deaths. While many sightings have since been explained away as coyotes or dogs with a severe case of mange, which can make them look truly horrifying, the legend of the Chupacabras is alive and well. It's a testament to our fear of the unknown predator lurking just beyond the campfire, the Nahual. What if your neighbor wasn't exactly who they seemed to be? What if, when darkness falls, they could shed their human skin and become a beast? That's the terror at the heart of the Nahual legend. With roots deep in Mesoamerican traditions, a Nahual is a kind of sorcerer or witch who has the power to shapeshift. These magic users are said to be able to transform into animals, most often jaguars, coyotes, or big dogs, to stalk the night. Now, their motives can vary. Some Nahualis are said to be protectors, using their powers for good, but more often they're seen as malevolent figures who use their animal forms to cause trouble, steal from their neighbors, or get some bloody revenge. The belief in Nahualis is this fascinating mix of indigenous spirituality and colonial-era fears about witchcraft. It speaks to a time when the line between the human and animal worlds, the natural and the supernatural, was believed to be paper-thin. Even today, in rural parts of Mexico, that rustle of leaves in the dark might not be an ordinary animal. It could be a Nahual on the prowl. La Planchada, the Ironed Lady. Hospitals are places of healing, but they're also places of intense pain and loss. So it's no surprise they are crawling with ghost stories. And in Mexico, no hospital ghost is more famous than La Planchada, the Ironed Lady. She's said to be the spirit of a nurse who haunts the halls of hospitals, especially Hospital Juarez in Mexico City. She gets her name from her uniform, an old-fashioned nurse's outfit, impossibly crisp and perfectly ironed, without a single wrinkle. The most popular version of the story says her name was Eulalia. She was a dedicated nurse who fell hopelessly in love with a doctor. But when he betrayed her and married someone else, she fell into a deep depression, neglecting her patients. Racked with guilt, her spirit now wanders the hospital halls, trying to make up for her past by caring for the sick. Over the years, countless patients have reported being checked on in the middle of the night by a kind, mysteriously well-dressed nurse. But when they ask about her the next day, they're told that no such nurse works there. Is she a guardian angel or a ghost stuck in a loop of regret? For the people she's helped, that distinction probably doesn't matter much. These stories are so much more than just scary tales. They're a window into the soul of a culture. If you're finding these legends as fascinating as I do, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our future deep dives into the world's strangest folklore. And let me know in the comments, which of these legends gives you the creeps the most? Alright, get ready, because our next legend is waiting on a lonely road with a tempting offer that might just cost you your soul. El Charro Negro, the Black Horseman. Picture this. You're driving alone on a deserted road late at night. Up ahead, you see a silhouette on horseback. As he gets closer, you realize he's an impossibly elegant horseman dressed in a flawless black charro suit with silver details, riding a powerful black horse with eyes that seem to glow like hot coals. This is El Charro Negro, the Black Horseman. He's a powerful, mysterious figure, sometimes said to be a debt collector for the devil, or maybe even the devil himself. The legend goes that he was once a man so consumed by greed that he sold his soul for endless wealth. He lived a life of luxury, but was totally alone. Now, he's condemned to ride the back roads of Mexico for all eternity, looking for desperate travelers to make a deal with. He might offer you a bag full of gold or a solution to all your problems, but accepting his help comes with a terrible price. Those who take his money are doomed to a life of misfortune, or worse, are forced to take his place, becoming the next Charro Negro, forever bound to that cursed fate. La Isla de las Muñecas, Island of the Dolls. Our next legend brings us to a real and genuinely disturbing location in the canals of Xochimilco, La Isla de las Muñecas, the Island of the Dolls. This tiny island isn't home to people, but to hundreds, maybe thousands of dolls. They hang from trees, their plastic limbs broken, their eyes missing, all of them covered in grime and cobwebs. This chilling collection was started by the island's former caretaker, Don Julian Santana Barrera. The story goes that Don Julian found the body of a young girl who had drowned in the canal. Haunted by her spirit, he started hanging up dolls he found in the trash to appease her ghost and keep evil away. For 50 years, his collection grew, creating a true nightmare landscape. Visitors to the island swear they've heard the dolls whispering to each other, their heads turning and limbs moving on their own. In a final tragic twist, Don Julian was found drowned in the very same spot where he said he'd found the little girl. Today, the island is a dark tourist attraction, a haunting memorial to one man's obsession and a lost soul. La Pascualita. From an entire island of dolls, we go to a single mannequin that has been blurring the line between inanimate and alive for almost a century. In a bridal shop called La Popular in Chihuahua, there's a mannequin known as La Pascualita. She first appeared in the shop window on March 25, 1930, and right away, people were struck by how unnervingly realistic she was. Her detailed hands, the faint wrinkles in her skin, her glassy eyes, and her real human hair were just too lifelike. It wasn't long before a dark rumor started to spread. The legend claims that La Pascualita isn't a mannequin at all, but the perfectly embalmed corpse of the original shop owner's daughter, who died tragically on her wedding day after being bitten by a black widow spider. The story says her grief-stricken mother couldn't bear to let her go, so she preserved her daughter's body and put her in the window, forever a bride. Shop employees and visitors have told stories of La Pascualita's eyes following them, of her changing her position overnight, and of a strange, saint-like feeling around her. Whether she's just an incredible work of art or a mother's macabre memorial, La Pascualita remains one of Mexico's most uncanny and enduring legends. El Sombreron. Our final tale is a figure from folklore whose story is famous in Guatemala and is also deeply woven into the lore of southern Mexico, especially in the state of Chiapas. This is the legend of El Sombreron, or the man in the big hat. Much like El Charro Negro, he appears on lonely roads at night, but his goals are often more specific and more sinister. He's described as a short, shadowy man who is dominated by a huge, wide-brimmed hat that completely hides his face. He targets young women, especially those with long, dark hair. He'll appear out of nowhere and start serenading them with his silver guitar, and his music is so beautiful that they fall completely under his spell. He then braids their hair and sometimes offers them food, but the food is tainted with dirt, making them unable to eat anything else. The victim slowly wastes away, unable to eat or sleep, tormented by the nightly visits of her dark admirer until her spirit just gives up. El Sombreron is a classic cautionary tale, a warning against the handsome, mysterious stranger and the dangers that can hide behind a beautiful song. So, from weeping ghosts to shape-shifting sorcerers and cursed horsemen, the urban legends of Mexico are a deep and terrifying part of its folklore. They aren't just simple, scary stories. They're reflections of history, faith, and that timeless human fear of what's waiting for us in the shadows. These tales have been passed down for generations, changing and adapting over time, but they've never lost their power to get under your skin. Which of these legends did you find the most terrifying? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this trip into the dark heart of Mexican folklore, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and try not to think too hard about who or what might be waiting for you in the dark.